Hey guys, I am Casey with Pinup Spa Boutique in Biloxi and Gaucher, which was formerly Pascagoula. And this is part of our video series on how to educate our clients when I can no longer be there to do it or make sure that it is always done in the words that I would say, I guess. I always like to make a connection with all of our clients because it's really important to me that people understand everything. Full transparency is just the way that I've always operated. It doesn't come across that good on video because you haven't have had the opportunity to connect with that person and to see my personality before you judge me too harshly. But I didn't go to business school or anything like that, but I've been waxing I started when I was 23 and I'm 34. And I had my spine fused together recently, which is why I can't do services anymore. So I actually can't look up or down with anything besides my eyeballs. So as much as I would love to remain professional in this video, I'm going to end up holding my neck and looking back majority of the time, and that is why I'll be doing that, not for any other reason. Okay, so because I'm not there to explain all of this stuff to people every day, and I can't be there every day to make, you get new hires and you try your best, but you don't always know how it's being delivered. So I just want to have a resource of information for my clients. So if you found this some other way, I'm sure that people are going to stumble across it that are nowhere close to our area, but hopefully you will understand the point of why this was made and who it was for, and you'll find some useful information in it yourself. So today I'm just going to tell you what to expect so that you cannot be so nervous. A lot of people want to get a Brazilian. They would really like to try it, but they're afraid, and that is understandable because it is a vulnerable experience. You will be completely exposed, heel to heel, cross-legged, except not cross because your heels are touching, spread eagle naked. That is true for sure. But you have a towel on you, so that anytime the door is open, and of course the beds face pretty much like this, so the esthetician's going to come in that way and you're facing this way. And we do that just in case if someone for some reason did open the wrong door, it's only going to get to here and there's a stopper behind it, and they would only see the back of your head. So why don't you just have a lock on the door? We used to, and then had to crawl through the ceiling to get into a room where someone somehow did not understand how to get out. Everyone has their reasons. I don't know, but this particular person could not get out of the room. So we don't lock the doors anymore, but we design them differently so that if someone were to walk in for some reason, which has only happened one time a long time ago when someone's child was running loose in a smaller store that we had. And of course the door didn't get open, but they just made it back far enough. So anyways, it is designed for your privacy as much as absolutely possible. The door stops behind your head, and then you pretty much run into like a wall in some rooms, or you see nothing. And so like you're not facing this way to an open door. So anyway, so you're facing the other way and your legs are, your legs are crossed together with a towel over it. Actually, you're not crossed yet. You're laying there with the towel over it. You keep your shirt on. No reason to take anything else off. But when your esthetician comes to get you, your service provider, she is going to introduce herself. Hey, I'm Casey. I'll be taking care of you today. Have you ever waxed before or waxed with us before? Just anything we don't want it to be that professional of like shaking hands and all that. I mean, it's a Brazilian. You're already nervous. So we just want to break the barrier and let you know, like, we're just a normal person. It is our job. Sometimes people think like it's weird who Peter is going to sleep. I'm not a professional videographer. Who waxes their vagina and who does it for a living? Well, I don't think anybody like wakes up and says, I want to wax vaginas. That is what I'm going to do all day, every day. Like that is not how it usually goes. We go to school for skincare, and then there's so many different fields, jobs that you can do with skincare. You can work for a dermatologist, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do acne. Like that was my thing. I was obsessed with the skin as a as an excretory system. Like I just found that so fascinating. But once I worked for a dermatologist and I had to do the same service on every client, no matter what, back to back, and if they were late, you just shorten their time up, and there's just so many things I didn't agree with, and it's like, this is not the field for me. And then it was really hard for me to get a job because everybody wanted you to have 2 years experience, and how do you get 2 years experience unless someone hires you? So I started waxing with a friend that I met, and I was terrified of Brazilians. Not to do them, but I didn't want to hurt someone, and it made me feel really bad knowing that I was the one causing pain. But there was just so many Brazilians that I had to start taking the overflow and doing them, and I sucked at it at first. I really sucked because I didn't want to hurt anybody. And luckily, the people that I got to train on were her friends that had been waxing for a very long time, and would stop me and tell me, hey, look, the more you're worried about hurting me, the more you're actually hurting me because you're scared and you're not pulling as quick as you should, and all that stuff. Okay, so all of these, a lot of information, but all of this comes into play when we are training our staff. The more you're worried about hurting someone, the more you're going to hurt them. But do not ever lose sight of compassion, because you are putting someone through pain, and you need to just adjust your methods and technique and conversation to account for the fact that they are in pain, and how can you make this as less painful as possible. Some people prefer, or they won't prefer because they don't know any better. It might be their first time, but if they're having a hard time, wait. Do not interrupt them in the middle of a conversation and pull. Like, some people might want a suggestion like, hey, do you want to know first? And probably not going to go as smoothly if you know, but the point is, let them breathe out and pull. So there's all kind of tactics and techniques that we use when it comes to pain. And I don't want to scare you off about the pain, but the first one sucks. It sucks. It does. However, the reason it sucks is because you're taking all your hair out at one time, and hair grows in 3 different phases. So everything that's above the surface is going away. When you rebook in 4 weeks, you have so much skin and so little hair, because the only thing that's left for your rebook in 4 weeks is the baby hair that was just being born a month ago. And that has finally reached the surface. So 1 out of these 3 phases of hair is ready to come out. And it's amazing. Like, you came in with this bush and it was painful. It sucked. But when you come back, it's practically skin and then some hairs on it. And if every hair is attached to its own pain receptor, as it is, and you're pulling a lot less hair, a lot less pain receptors, significantly less pain. So yes, the first one does suck. It depends on your pain tolerance. There's some people that think it is a breeze and don't think twice about it, but they can't get over being that vulnerably naked in front of someone. So when your service provider comes in after you've done your intake form, filled out all your information, some things seem completely not applicable, but we're going to ask about your skincare routine, your medications, any conditions that may interfere with our service. And why would your skincare routine matter if you're getting your vagina waxed? Because people add on eyebrows all the time back there. And the skin right here, that's the thinnest skin in your entire body. That's why you see so many viral photos of eyebrow skin being ripped off, because think about all the products that you have. I know you can't see this shelf, but you just have so many products and you don't know what's in them. We can barely decipher because there's just so many. Like we'll have to look things up a lot to make sure that it's not got retinol in it or an alpha hydroxy acid or anything that is already exfoliated so much of your dead skin that there's nothing for our wax to stick to except for live tissue. And that's how those things happen. So that is why that information is on a skincare form that is only for your vagina because of the add-ons that you'll get back there, that you ask for back there, and for other conditions that you shouldn't be waxing on without your doctor's consent. Example, type 2 diabetes. My mom's type 2 diabetic, so I am a little bit more tolerable with clients like that because my mom is, she just got her first tattoo on her foot, knowing damn good and well you're not supposed to do that. If you know anything about type 2 diabetics, then you know why. So, anywho, when you get into your room, there is it's called a table technically, but it looks like a bed. It's got sheets on it like a bed. The blanket is pulled down here, and there is a towel like diagonal across the table. And the purpose of the towel is actually for the service provider to catch wax, so it'll get on the towel instead of ruining the sheets, because we're a small business and sheets are not cheap. Towels are cheaper, and it just helps protect the sheets. I particularly like coral sheets and turquoise on our beds, and they don't sell the coral anymore, so we try to protect it the best we can. So that's actually what the purpose of that towel is. Some people make the mistake of trying to get underneath it to cover up. That's not what it's for. So that towel is really to protect linens. And then there is table paper, just like you see at the doctor's office, on top of that towel. You get on top of that, on that table paper. But we try to make it as cozy as possible, but sanitary. Protection and safety is number one. We don't play that game. We don't double dip. Everything is disinfected in front of you before we walk out the door. And then when we get back, the rest of the disinfection happens that you don't really see because it's necessary in between each client. If you think about it, you see someone make your sandwich and that's cool. They're wearing gloves, fast food restaurant. And then what do? With the gloves on, like they go and take your money, or they do so. Like money is one of the dirtiest things that are circulating like around the world. That is disgusting. So this food is not safe because you're wearing gloves. You're safe because you're wearing gloves. So all these things are kept in mind. I mean, we've been servicing you with gloves on and doing this, and then you reach over and you grab something that from any person whatsoever, don't care who you are, safety is number one, is now touch that. And then the client could be inspecting and looking to see if we missed anything, and then their hands touch the doorknob. So all these things are clean in between every service, and we prefer that you get to see a little bit of it before you leave the room, just for your own peace of mind. But we don't always get the opportunity to do it in front of you, just for the fact that the smell just depends on what it is, how in between services, what's going on. But the disinfecting of everything happens in between every single client, and that is something that you should look for you other people that are shopping around for Brazilian waxing places. You should also look in the garbage can and see if there's a lot of sticks in there, because if there's not a lot of sticks in there, where are they? It takes a lot of sticks to do a Brazilian or any wax. So are you double dipping? Because that is horrendous. I don't care what anyone says about bacteria and the temperature of wax. There is aerobic bacteria and anaerobic bacteria, different things that can live in the presence of oxygen and without. So I don't care what people say. Like, double dipping is just a no-no. It's also against the state board rules in Mississippi and more than likely a lot of other places. So it's illegal regardless, and we don't do it. Okay, I go on tangents. So back to your service. So you get in your room and it's nice and cute, and hopefully smells fresh because it's just been cleaned. And you've got your towel is the protection drape, and then the paper is where you will get on top. And you'll know because your service provider will point to it and tell you as she shows you the wipes and the stuff that she has set up for you. So it's basically like a natural care kind of baby wipe, and it helps you feel more comfortable because what if you just came from work? You don't always have the opportunity to shower like you want to for your gyno. We get it. So there's two wipes, one for the front, one for the back. She tells you that when she's in there talking to you. And then there's two oil pads. And the oil pads are basic grapeseed oil because everything we use, we try to use as minimal ingredients necessary. Loaded ingredients are just red flag. Don't do it. I am so sensitive to everything. Everything breaks me out. And it sucks because that is my job. So nobody, wants this to be their profession and always be broken out. But it's just because there's so much crap in our products now. So we use things that are as natural as we can. And that's why we stick to basic grapeseed oil. No colorant, fragrance. Colorant and fragrant are your top two irritants. So we avoid all that. Our waxes do not have any additives that are not necessary. Our personal formula has an additive, which it's natural, but the purpose of that is to inhibit hair growth. Anything else, it better be for protecting the skin, conditioning the skin, safety, antibacterial purposes, because fragrance and colorant is just, we do not do that. And really, if you get a skincare product that smells good, then you should probably question what you just spent your money for, their marketing budget or a quality product that is actually going to be efficient. So anyways, she'll show you that. She'll show you what to do with it. One wipe for the front, one for the back. Just gives you an opportunity to feel a little bit more comfortable. And then you have your oil pads, one for the front, one for the back as well. Don't want to cross-contaminate and bring your back to the front. That's a no-no, so that's why you got two. And then you'll toss it in the garbage over there, and you can put your stuff over here. Right? And then she'll tell you to get on the table and cover up with this towel so you feel more protected, and I'll be back to check on you in a minute. So she will leave you alone to get yourself cleaned up and feel more comfortable before someone starts investigating and picking through all your stuff. I know a lot of corporate franchise waxing places don't do that, and we do it just because I'm from the South and we are more I don't know the word that I used to always use when I said this every day, but we do things a little differently. I think we care. I'm not saying other people don't care, but we care a little bit more, and we just want to make sure. We just want that opportunity. So those places that you come in the room and strip down and get on that table with them, no, I'm not doing that. Mm-mm. I need to make sure I'm gonna check before you are down there in my stuff, just because I'm gonna shower before I go to my gyno, and I'm not going into a room with you where I've been sitting in the waiting room waiting. No, I'm gonna be fresh. So that's what we do for y'all as well. Also, Biloxi they have bidets in the bathroom. If you know how to use a bidet, you lean forward or backward depending on what you're doing. So we try our best to help you feel comfortable. So then when she gets back in there, she's going to remove the towel, see what you have to work with. Before you booked your appointment, we will have advised you on the phone about your hair growth and how long it needs to be, how 7 to 10 days from your last shave. It can't be any shorter than that, or we're not going to be able to grab it. The trimming only happens on the top. You don't need to trim any lower than that because there are other techniques to remove that hair. But you do need to trim the top because that will eliminate a lot of pain. And it's about direction and how the hair grows, but we'll get into that later because I could talk forever about this kind of stuff. So she's just going to assess the situation, assume that you want it all removed because we do this all day, every day, and majority of people take it all off. So if you want to leave something, you need to tell her and probably remind her again, just because it is muscle memory. And it's once you get really good at your job is the only time where you can be good with the client also, because it's hard to keep conversation and focus on what you're doing. And once you get to that point, it's muscle memory, and you're really good at your job because you can talk all day to a client and the muscle memory is doing your job for you. So you will have to remind them if you want to leave something behind. It's just the brain taking over. My computer keeps timing out. It's probably telling me to shut up. Okay, so we start with the most painful part first, which is the top. That's how a landing strip developed. Oh, that's how the landing strip originated, because it is the most painful. The median, the center of the body, it's where everything comes together. It's the most painful part. So a landing strip was I keep wanting to say design. It originated to be left, because that shit just hurt too bad. So we're gonna start from the sides. It'll be a little, we call it the baseball field. So a little like kind of like this, like the top before the split. So we start here, we're gonna hit that bikini line, and then we're about to go for the middle, and then that's it. Everything else, like the lip, it is coarser, it is thick, but you're pulling, you're stretching, you are hands on the whole time. It does not matter what size you are. Please don't ever think that you're too big or too many stretch marks, or your skin's too loose, or you're too this, that, the other. Everybody can get a Brazilian, and we all have insecurities that we worry about. You are no different than anybody else. I promise you, the same fears that you have are the same fears that someone you wish you could be like, they have the same ones. You don't know what goes on in their head. Everybody is judged to some kind of standard, and girls are insecure. We are. It took me like an hour to get comfortable with how I was going to look on this camera before I could even press the button. And I don't look like this. I just couldn't even see my lips when I had the camera on. So I had to put some makeup on. And in real life, it looks ridiculous because this is way too much makeup. But on camera, like, it was necessary. I don't like it. But anyways, you're going to be hands on the whole time, and some people get offended by that. We try to approach it, when you're training people, you don't really know you try to pick your best character possible when you're hiring people, but they don't always know delivery and have the experience on hurting people's feelings when you don't intend to. So just know that everyone has to pull. Have a tummy, don't have a tummy. It does not matter. It's about stretching your skin. We're not asking you to move, and I can't stand this word, not asking you to move fat out of the way. It has nothing to do with that. It's about your skin being taut, like this. If you're going to wax your arm, still going to have to pull like this. This skinny little bony arm still has to be pulled like this before you can wax it. So your hands are going to be down here, and you're going to pull up. And then once we wax that area, you're going to move down, and you're going to keep pulling. The entire time you are hands on. Every single person is. And if I find out that someone was not, I get really upset, because there's so much damage that you can do to someone when you're not tightening their skin. It doesn't matter how thin or fit you are. When you're waxing someone and that gets pulled up because you weren't doing this to prevent it, that bruising, busted capillaries, damaged blood vessels, skin being removed, just no. So everybody hold. So please don't ever feel insulted when you're hands on. I hope that my girls approach it in the proper way, that your feelings are not hurt, but it has nothing to do with your size or skin or nothing. Like, everyone is supposed to do it. So anyways, as they move down to the lip area, most of the time on the top, we use a soft wax. Some people freak out about that, but the reason we do that, I know that your corporate places only use one wax everywhere. It doesn't make it necessarily the right way. It just makes it the fastest way. And fastest and the most efficient are not the same thing. It is really easy to remove all your hair, like, visually. But when you're breaking half of it, that is not doing anything for you. You just paid all that money, and you expect to be bald for at least 2 weeks, sometimes 3, and you're not, because so much hair was broken and it looked like it all came off at one time quickly and less painful. Of course it's less painful because you didn't remove a lot of it. You broke it off, which is the same as shaving. You didn't pull it out from the root. So yeah, it hurt less because you're not affecting those nerves. But you'll notice the difference. Also, when you use hard wax, you have to pull up on the actual tab of the wax. It has to dry and you have to pull up. So if you can imagine your hair growing this way and this way, where it meets in the center on that landing strip, where are you supposed to lift up on the tab? On that density of hair so that you can get your finger under it and get you a lip where you're tugging at their landing strip and it's very painful, so they can get under it and then pull. It's so painful. So the more efficient way, and actually the least painful way, is to use soft wax right there. So we'll use baby powder to help put an extra layer of protection on the skin there, because the oil pads, when they are telling you how to use that, you use those actually on the lip, because that's for the hard wax. So we'll put the powder up here and use the soft wax. That way we can stop right here before it meets your landing strip. Put the, it'll be like, here's your landing strip, here's the hair, right? So we'll put the wax on, this is weird, like this before it touches this. Put the paper on and then remove it and put your hand on it quickly, because they say your body can only recognize like one pain sensation at a time. So when you stub your toe, like, you can take your pain away quickly, slap you in the face, and you won't focus on your toe anymore, right? So when we rip that out, boom, it's hand, done. This stuff isn't lingering around, right? It's moving on. And then as you get close to the butt, it's like a pinch. It's like your butt got pinched. Done. And then comes the backside. And people freak out about the backside, but it's the easiest part. So they're going to ask you to bring your knees to your chest like this, and you'll be laying on your back. And basically, it just opens you up so we can have a big strip going this way and a big strip going this way. And then we repeat going opposite ways so that we caught anything growing in a different direction, and you don't even feel that back there. That's why we start with the most painful and go to the least, because if you do it the opposite way, it's actually faster. It's faster, but it gets worse and worse and worse every time you pull, because you started with the easy part, but you didn't know it was easy. That was your first shocker of the day, so the shit hurt. You keep going this way and it just gets worse. It might be faster and we can make more money doing it that way, but it is not the best way, and I believe in doing things the best way. So that is how we do it. And when we're finished, we'll give you more wipes to clean up, so you don't have to leave with the oil residue or anything like that. We'll throw that towel back over you, tell you everything you need to know for care, treatment, what not to do, no sun exposure, all that jazz, and then we'll see you outside. The whole process is a 30-minute booking. Those 30 minutes, though, include our cleanup and setup time. So you're actually being serviced for 20 minutes or less. And then it is cake on your rebooks. Just don't ever push it to 6 weeks, because once you get to 6 weeks, you just allow 2 more weeks for more hair to catch up and pop through that skin, and now you're pulling a lot more hair, a lot more nerves, and it's basically like starting all over. So do your rebook every 4 weeks, and you'll be fine, and you will love it. Sorry I talked a lot.